Welcome to Daily Focus. Sorry, we are scrambling a little bit this morning to put things together. Michelle had to be out early to help give out some computers to the public school kids. And so I'm making it up as we go with my son, and he is a big help. But we're a little bit late today, but I'm glad that you have joined us this morning as we are in Proverbs, and we're in chapter 27, and we are going to start reading in verse number 14. My wife has used this verse against me a number of times. I don't know what you are, whether you're a morning person. If you're with me right now, you probably tend to be that way, or responsibilities have you up. But I tend to be a morning person. My wife tends to not be a morning person, but from time to time she does have to get up early. And so verse 14, she is used against me. He that blesses his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. Well, I don't know that that's exactly what the verse means, that if you get up early, it's a curse to all of your friends. However, it does have a little phrase in there, and that is that when you rise up early thinking only of yourself, slamming doors, slamming cabinets, slamming drawers, talking loudly, you're up and about, but having no consideration for anybody else around you, it will come back to haunt you. I remember it kind of brings back college days with roommates, and when you're sharing one big room with a multitude of people, and different people get up at different times as they have class hours and personal schedules that are just different. You do have to learn to be considerate as some of them are trying to sleep while you get ready. But that's what verse number 14 is really talking about, is learning to be considerate to those around you. Verse 15, a continual dropping in the very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whosoever hideth her hideth the wind, and the ointment of his right hand which bewrayeth itself. The idea is a contentious woman is going to affect you. It's going to affect the entire household. Her attitude, her demands are going to be affected. And if you think that you can change that, then you're foolish. And it's the idea. It gives examples in verse 16 about trying to hide the wind, or pretend like there is no wind when your hair is blowing and things are blowing across the yard. Trying to pretend that there's not wind is the same foolishness as trying to pretend that a woman is not upset with you. A contentious woman does not have an agenda to point out her issues and her offenses, or whatever the case may be. And so it's learning to be real with your situation. If you have offended, if there is something you have to get right, if there is something you have to talk out, pretending like there isn't going to change anything. It even gives the illustration of the ointment and the right hand. So it's the idea that you have something that can help you, but literally it's in your right hand, but you just don't apply it. It's as if it's not in your right hand. It's not. You don't have anything to do to help you with ideas of medicine. So here you have the medicine. It's in your right hand. You could use it, but you're pretending as if there's nothing you can do to help or fix it. That's learning to just be real. I've entitled this that because I think that it's important for us to realize that offenses come. We offend people. People offend us. Things get contentious from time to time in every relationship. And we're just going to have to learn to be honest. We're going to have to learn to be real. So if I'm not being as considerate in the morning as I should be, then I should be honest about that. If I unintentionally wake somebody up because I was on the phone, or because I was loud with the cupboards and getting a coffee cup, I have to be honest about that. I can justify it. I can pretend like I didn't do anything wrong, but it doesn't solve anything. And so kind of that's the foundation of this text, is they're really laying it out as to learning to just be real and honest about what's going on. So then we get into verse number 17, a very familiar verse. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof, so he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. As in water face answereth to face. In other words, there's a reflection like a mirror. So the heart of man to man. Hell and destruction are never full. So the eyes of man are never satisfied. As the fining pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. And so here is the picture of friendship. It's the picture of one life influencing another life. It's one life touching another life. And we're back to that understanding of good friends and true friends and the value of them. But even in the midst of good, solid marriages or deep and intimate relationships that are long and have been that way for years and years and years, can have contentions. They can be in the place where there are struggles, and you're going to have to solve them. You can't pretend like they didn't exist or that it doesn't have to be talked about. You do have to be able to talk through things. Problems we learned in math need to be solved. They don't just go away on their own. And so it then begins to talk about this idea that iron sharpeneth iron. So sometimes it's in those contentions, it's in those confrontations, it's in the wounds of a friend that are given in love, those confrontations. Hey, you need to rethink this. Hey, listen, I want to challenge your thinking on this. These types of statements really sharpen the countenance of a friend so that he realizes that, you know what, he is trying to help me or she is trying to help me. And so true friendship is about making a better a friend. In other words, really bringing out the best in someone else. And then it goes on to talk about the picture of looking at yourself in water, or the idea of a mirror. And so as water face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. In other words, one of the joys of really close relationships is that you can't hide anything. I know my wife. I can walk in the house and tell you what kind of day she's had. I can tell you by the posture. I can tell you by probably what she's doing. There are just ways that we really learn to read each other and understand each other. And that's part of those deep, real, true relationships and friendships. And so the idea here is that when somebody points out a flaw, when they point out a struggle, when they're really coming along to try to help you, embrace that and learn to be real in the midst of that and say, you know, I haven't arrived. We can work through this and salvage the relationship and make it the best that it can. And then it concludes by talking about a man's character. And so it just kind of ends with, you know what really will reveal your character? Oh, pressure reveals character or a lack of it, but praise can reveal character or a lack of it. If praise just goes to your head and it all becomes about you, you're lacking some character. But if praise coming to you is deflected to God, it comes as an appreciation for the bigger picture of who they are and the fact that it means so much coming from them. And you're so glad that you were able to be an encouragement to them, a help to them, a blessing to them. This idea of what does praise do to you? If it goes to your head, then you've got some growing up to do. And sometimes friends are the ones that are able to bring those things out, both the character of handling it properly or telling us we need some work to do. And so learning to be real. I mean, that's kind of the idea of the text. There's a lot there, but hope that it's been an encouragement, a help to you. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Lord bless you today.